All right. All right. So this should be a good, easy segment for us. You'll see people popping in as we go. And of course, at the end, I will definitely answer questions. I am not the person who likes to, I'm definitely not the person who likes to give out information and then not allow people to ask questions to be able to confirm or to just get clarity around what it is we were talking about. So you will be able to ask a few questions at the end. So if you have questions, write them down. But I may very well answer the questions that you have as we are in the session. So let's see here. All right. So tonight's session, we're going to talk about how to increase your visibility and expert status in your ed consulting business. So this is a really important topic because so many times teachers will leave the classroom or school officials will leave the classroom and they will be very talented. They will be very talented. They will be just really great at what it is that they do, but they don't seem to gain the traction that they thought they would be able to gain simply because they didn't know the steps to take or the moves to make. And so I'm going to share some strategies that have worked for me and that continue to work to help you to increase your visibility and your expert status as you build your business. I'm going to go over real quick who this is for, because I will say that many of the strategies that I share are not just for ed consultants, but I relate it directly to ed consultants because these are the real strategies that I use and that I've helped over 200 other women to use to be able to achieve the level of success that they were looking for. So if you are a current ed consultant, someone who's looking to leave the school system, maybe you're already pursuing contracts or you need more leads. And quite frankly, if you're making less than $10,000 a month, you definitely have some gaps that you need to fill. And so visibility and expert status has to be a part of your plan. And then if you just need a greater understanding of consulting, I'll also support you in that on tonight's session. So again, tonight's session, this is absolutely free session. It costs you $0. It costs you a little bit of time. And the value that I'm going to deliver to you will help you to be able to really set yourself up and be visible, because there is no benefit in being the best kept secret. So we are looking for people who are serious about impact and income. Like if you're scared to make money and you're scared to have a bigger impact over what you're already doing, then this probably isn't for you. But you also got to be willing to reevaluate what is currently happening in your situation and be willing to reflect. So bottom line is, if you've already solved this problem, this is probably not the situation for you. In this session, I am quite frankly going to give you 5 key strategies to help you to increase your visibility. I always give real action steps and not that play pretend stuff that people do and play these games and stuff. That's not what we're doing. You got to get the whole thing. So I'm going to say it's not doing you any good to stay for 20 minutes. Stay for the whole thing because I give true value. It was very frustrating to me when I was trying to figure this thing out and people would give you bits and pieces and niblets of stuff to do. That was very frustrating. And so I don't do that to people. So I'm going to give you 5 key strategies to increase your visibility. I'm going to give you more than just a step. I'm going to give you the rationale behind it and how it looks when you employ it. And then number 2, I'm going to show you how to earn the right to be heard. How to earn the right to be heard. Some of us think that because we have something to say, people should listen, and that's just not true. And that comes along with the visibility and the expert status. And then number 3, I'm going to help you to identify how to know you are the best at what you do. And if you don't think that you're the best right now, you will understand how to become the best. So I'm going to share how I was able to increase my visibility and become viewed as an expert. And these 3 understandings made all the difference to me. So again, we are live right now in the session. If you want to join us, the link is on the page. You need to click come into the Zoom room. In the Zoom room, we're getting into the teachings, the strategies, the rationales. We're about to go through the whole thing. So as we get started, like what I first like to always share with people is that hope is not a strategy. Some of us think that we can hope and pray our way into what it is that we want. And I just got to burst the bubble and tell you, hope is not a strategy. Prayer is only a portion of a strategy, because we know that with prayer, you got to do work as well. You just can't lay back and sit and wait for the doorbell to ring and the thing that you were looking for to show up at the door. So praying is only one part of the strategy. For all of those people who have those almighty referrals, I love referrals and I love when I'm referred out. I think it's the best thing since sliced bread. But this is what I'm going to tell you. Those referrals will run out, and you need to have a solid strategy, a solid plan to be able to maintain business in your business. And again, being the best kept secret is not the answer. If you're joining me live on this live stream, you need to click the link on the page, because you can come into the Zoom room and participate and even be able to ask questions. The other thing that I'm going to share with you is that playing it safe is not a business strategy. I need us to stop thinking that I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to make all of the right moves. Everything is going to be perfect. And by me playing it safe, that means that there will be no failure. There will be no struggle. There will be none of that. It's not true, people. Playing it safe is not a business strategy. And quite frankly, it's going to keep you broke and ignored. And so tonight, I'm going to share with you the strategies that it takes to get you visibility and to have people view you as an expert. But the thing that I'm going to tell you is that it's not a quick fix. And so if you're looking for the quick fix, not the right Zoom, not the right situation, because I don't sell quick fix methods. I give you proven strategies. This is not a 30-minute session. I didn't make believe that it was going to be a 30-minute session. And then I also offered to answer questions at the end. I always let people know that this work takes delayed gratification, just like it took for you to get those degrees, just like it took for you to get that job, just like it took for you to get that husband, just like it took for you to have that baby. All those things, you did something, you put some things in action, you took some action, and then it didn't happen overnight. There was some delayed gratification, but we were joyous and happy when the thing happened for us that we meant to happen. I talk about solutions. I'm very reality-based, and in being reality-based, we talk about things that move the needle forward. And then the next thing I'll tell you is that, again, I'm willing to answer specific questions at the end if I don't cover it in the PowerPoint and in what I'm going to share with you. But I can assure you this is not a pipe dream. Many people on here have worked with me. They know me. And I don't do pipe dreams. Like, I need reality, I need real life. And so I'm not going to sell you a pipe dream simply because I wouldn't want anybody to sell me a pipe dream. And so this session, I'm going to give you some real strategies, some real tactical moves that you can make. But more importantly, I'm going to help you with your mindset as well, to help you understand what it is that you need to do to have high visibility and to be seen as an expert in your field. And again, if you're with us live, we're in the Zoom room right now. We're live in the Zoom room. So join us in the Zoom room. All right. So for those who may be new to me, I am Dr. Chanel DeBose. I am a former educator, and I created my own business, a multi-six-figure educational consulting business. I'm not the person who knew a whole bunch of principals, a whole bunch of leaders. That just wasn't my situation. And so I had to build it from scratch. I had to build it from the bottom all the way up. And so that's why I'm coming to share with you, because I really wish I had somebody to share with me. I'm gonna tell you a couple of things so that you won't be shocked at any of the things that I say. I am sharing my story, my experience, and my truth. I am not a politician, nor do I desire to be one. So if you're looking for somebody who's going to be politically correct and say every word in the King's language and to do all those things, you are on the wrong Zoom. I can't help you. I'm not a politician. I have no desire to be one. I'm going to talk the way I talk. I'm going to communicate. I'm always respectful. I'm always willing to be wrong, but I'm also not willing to be uncomfortable or to put myself into twists and knots to try to make somebody else feel comfortable. So if you are easily offended, again, might not be the lot. This might not be the session for you. I am here to tell you that two truths can exist at the exact same time. At the exact same time. So I want you to know you can love being a teacher. You can love educating kids. You can love supporting families. You can love all of these things and not want to spend your time at that school like that anymore. You can be a pure genius and a hot mess at the exact same time. So I just want us to know the two truths can exist at the same time. Two truths can be my story is my truth and your story is your truth as well. And they can be opposing stories. It's okay. Two truths can exist at the same time. I'll also say that I'm not an attorney or a financial advisor. I am simply sharing my truth. And so this is what has worked for me. This is what has worked for the over 200 women that I've worked with. And so I'm sharing it with you because perhaps it can work for you. My goal is that I just want to help more educators take more action and move past the fear, because the fear is what really keeps us stuck. So keep in mind right now at this moment, I cannot see into the chat because I am I'm doing a full screen presentation. I will check the chat at the end and if I have a moment during the middle, but I did want to say that if we can all stay on mute so that we don't have the background noises interfering, that would be absolutely awesome as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get into the meat of what we came here for. There, you know, like I don't like all that prolonging and going into all this other stuff. You see, I give you exactly what I said I was going to give you. The first thing I'm going to share with you is 5 keys to increase visibility. 5 keys, and I'm going to go through the 5 keys. You see, I already got them listed for you. Healing and examining your beliefs. That's the first belief. That's the first key. And then the next one is social media. The next one is newsletters and blogs. The next one is interviews. And the last one is speaking. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to explain to you how this works and how it helps you to increase visibility and where you can find these things at or begin to do these things. But first, I want to ask just a question. What are your current strategies that you're using to increase your visibility and your expert status? What are you currently doing? Can you share that for us in the chat? Let us know, what are you currently doing to increase your visibility, to cement your expert status? What strategies are you currently employing in order to do that? Anybody have anything for the chat to let us know what they are currently doing? All right, so add it to the chat, add it to the chat. So we got social media and email. Okay, anybody else want to share what they are currently doing to increase their visibility and their expert status? Okay, social media is big. Networking is key. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. Yes, speaking, asking for testimonials. Yes, those are excellent ways to increase your visibility and expert status. Anybody else add to the chat? So now the first thing that I'm gonna share with you, it may seem a little odd to you, and you might be thinking to yourself, now, Dr. D, I don't know about that. But you know, I'm gonna give you the real, raw, honest truth. If you want to increase your visibility and expert status, it first requires healing. You got to ask yourself, why am I the best kept secret? Why am I not shouting this to the rooftop? Why does everybody not know about me? And what is it that I might be doing or not doing that's keeping me from being more visible and from having more expert status, or more people view me as having expert status? Many times it's because we have not healed from some of the things that have hurt us. And so we don't want to put ourselves out there. We don't want to put ourselves in a position where people might be able to talk about us. We don't want to be in a position where people might be able to judge us. I want you to know that if you want to be visible and you want to be deemed an expert, people are going to judge you. People are going to talk about you. People are going to disagree with you. People are going to hate on you, and some people are not going to like you. And you as a person need to be okay with that. Some people are not going to like the way you do things. And that doesn't mean that the way that you're doing the thing is right. But for people who have healed, who have worked through the pains that have been created from childhood traumas, from bad relationships, from toxic school systems and the many, many things that create the pain in us, we have to actively and openly heal from that. We got to at first admit that it damaged us, that it was problematic, that some of us didn't deal with it well, that we didn't want it to happen. And so a part of the healing is definitely forgiving yourself. Like, you got to forgive yourself for allowing yourself to be in that situation. Now, the healing goes much deeper than that, but that's one of the first steps that you got to do. You got to forgive yourself. You got to be willing to understand that had to happen in order for me to get to this next location. There was a key moment in me moving to this next location. And see, when we talk about the healing, this is why you see people who they have all of the action steps. They know all of the strategies. They can tell you everything you need to do. Now, come on now, everybody know that person who always got an idea for you, who can always tell you what you should have done, who can always tell you the steps to take, but they ain't never did anything. They're not doing the thing themselves. It's because you can have all of the steps and strategies, but you're not going to do it because you have not healed. And we know lots of people who know lots of stuff, but they're not successful. They're not living the life of their dreams. They're not doing the things they want to do and that they can do because they have not healed. And then we also have to examine our beliefs. Some of us, many of us have had, just from the situations that we come from, our childhood, many of us as, your ethnic background, the trials and tribulations that you've been through, we have some beliefs that do not serve us. They didn't serve us then, and they definitely don't serve us now. We've told ourselves that making money is hard. Now you wondering, what does this got to do with visibility and expert status? It got a lot to do with it. Like, I'm here to tell you, you can't have those beliefs and think that things are going to work out for you. And then when you show up as visible, no one's going to listen because you're coming in as a wounded person. You're coming in as a hurt person, and hurt people hurt other people. When you get visible, people can see that. Think about when you meet and encounter someone who is on a low vibration. Think about that. When you meet somebody who all they do is gossip, all they do is talk about people, we already know that person is insecure with themselves. Like, we don't want to go over there and be attracted to that person. So are we going to join you on Facebook? No. More people who are low level, low vibration, who are hurt and who are gossiping are going to join that person. So this is why this is number one for visibility, because once we heal our wounds, those things that hurt us, those things that tried to take us out, those things that really took a toll on us, some of it changed our character, some of it changed how we look at the world. And although we may have changed, we didn't heal. And so we got to take a moment and work through that healing and be okay with it. I tell people all the time about how when I became a principal, they called a meeting on me because as the principal, you're the expert, right? When you're serving as the leader of the building, you are an expert. So as the expert in the building, whether you want to be or not, that's your role, okay? And when you're serving as the expert, you are the one that everybody's looking to. They expect you to have the answers, and they put you on this pedestal. This is why you have to be healed. They called a meeting on me. I don't even think I was there for 2 weeks yet. They called a meeting on me, because they had already heard all about Dr. DuBose coming. And they already knew Dr. DuBose going to get the job done. She do her work. She followed through. She made these changes at this high school. Everything that happened down there, she was a key ingredient to it. And it invoked fear in the people at the elementary school. They became fearful. They became scared that I was going to come in there, shake stuff up, and they were not going to be able to do things the way they used to do. And so they thought they would attack me. And they called a meeting, had the union rep there and all that. And you know what? I'd already done my healing. I had already done my work. I had already done the work. I had already forgiven myself for past actions, things that didn't serve me, for playing small, for, taking other people's feelings and considerations before I did my own, for pretending not to be smart. I had already forgave myself for all those things. And so when they called at meeting, I didn't know what they were going to say. And guess what they said? They said, can you tell us how you plan to run this building and manage this budget? And you can't even manage your own household budget because you filed bankruptcy. It's some people who would have fell out and died if somebody had revealed their personal business inside of a school meeting. And I sat there and I was like, oh, that's what we hear about. I was like, oh, so everybody in this room is perfect. Oh, so nobody in here, everybody in here has 100% financial literacy. So if I went and ran a check on all of y'all, everybody in here got a 750, 800 credit score. See, I had already healed from that. I wasn't in a state of shame. I wasn't in a state of guilt. It was what it was. I did it for the best interest of my family. It was a way to help me to get free. And that was the decision that I made. I made it and I owned it. It's many of us who, some people can say some stuff and they can take you out right now because it's the thing that you don't want people to know about you. It's the thing that you don't want people to know about you. We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes and there are no perfect people. So that's why I come to you now. My little story is about a bankruptcy. Yours could be about infidelity. Yours could be about being a mother. Yours could be about whatever that thing is that you would never want people to know about you. That's the thing that you need to heal from. That's the thing that you need to get into being okay with, own that you did it, and be willing to talk about it. See, that's why many of us cannot tell our story. And as we begin to increase in our visibility, what's going to make the increase in the visibility is us being able to tell our story. And guess what? I got to tell y'all this. The story ain't about your job. See, a lot of us want to hide behind the work. We want to hide behind the work. And we want to say, I'm just here to help kids who have special needs because I really love kids and they need extra attention. That's not the story. That's not what got you there. And that's not what the people are looking for. You are going to connect with people on a person-to-person basis and not on a school professional business basis. And so I want us to understand that healing and examining those beliefs that we have are going to be key. And until you do that, you're going to have a hard time getting people to follow you and getting people to truly, truly connect with you. When people connect with you, they will follow you anywhere. Like they will trust you because they know that you understand. And so we got to understand, we got to be willing to tell the real story. The real story. And oftentimes that story is about the thing that hurt us, the thing that tried to take us out, the thing that we don't want people to know. Oftentimes that's the story that's going to connect you to the people who you are looking to connect with. So let me keep going. I know, Maggie, it was unbelievable, the audacity of them. Okay, but the audacity of them to think that they was going to take me to my knees when I had already healed from that. I was already done with that. And I was like, oh, so of course we know that meeting didn't turn out the way they thought it was going to turn out. Now did it. And at the end, I won over a lot of them. They came in there trying to boot me out, but by the time they left, they were saying she is going to be good for this building. Oh, this might be just what we need up in here. And so understanding visibility and expert status requires healing. We got to examine these beliefs. Many of us think that making money is hard. We think that our family and friends will think that you change. So you don't want them to think that you done changed. So I'm going to try to stay the same. And I'm just going to go along to get along. We think that, people will be hating on us. And so we don't want to get big or to get more visible or to be sought after or to be deemed an expert. It's just like when I went and got my doctoral degree. And, people try to be funny. Oh, what's up, doc? What's up, doc? And I was like, that's right. Now, some people would have tried to downplay it and been like, oh, don't do that. I'm just still, yep, I'm Dr. DeBose. That's right. I did the work, I earned it. And there's many of us who won't step into it, and we play small. We don't want people to separate us from everybody else. We want to stay similar to the people. But let me ask you this. Why would you play yourself because of that? So you're with people who haven't lived up to their potential, and they want to make sure you don't live up to your potential. And so you play yourself by downplaying your awesomeness, by falling back into what it is that they're doing, by staying comfortable and by doing what is convenient. Here's the truth bomb. I'm finna give y'all a real quick truth bomb. Don't get mad at me. I'm about to give it to you. Some of us love the struggle. Some of us love the struggle. We love the struggle, being in the struggle, having to struggle, trying to get out of it. We love that struggle. We've been struggling for so long that we accept it and we expect it. That's what we're accustomed to. And so we make a conscious choice to hold on to these toxic relationships rather than move forward. You already know that person in your family who talk crazy every year that you hang out with, go to the clubs with, you already know that person is toxic. You already know when you get out the car with them, they're calling the other cousin to talk about you behind your back. But you would rather stay in that toxic relationship than to do something different because we accept it and we expect it. And we cough it up to, that's just how she is. You already know that's how she is. So you got to be willing to move forward. But when you move forward, you're leaving your level of comfort. See, it's comfortable back there. And so I want you to know that comfort and convenience will keep you from your great. And when we understand that, we'll be willing to shed some of the things that no longer serve us. I'm moving on. I'm off the soapbox. Number two, strategy number two, social media. The reason why so many of us can't get the visibility is because where they gonna find you at? Are you findable? These folks cannot find you for no reason whatsoever. They go looking for you. You are not findable. We know that everybody's on social media. If we know that social media, even just Facebook, if you just look at one platform, Facebook has over 70% of all people on Facebook. 70%, are you serious? Like 70%, that's a lot. And so if we know that, why don't we have a business page? Why not a business page talking about your business? You got a personal page that you let people on talking about your personal. So you got to get on social media. Social media is the newest, cheapest, best way to advertise these days. And not just advertising, but also just to serve your audience. A lot of us will talk ourselves out of social media. We will say, I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to be out front. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. My response to you is stay miserable, stay broke, stay where you're at because you prefer your comfort over the thing that needs to happen. You can also increase your visibility by creating newsletters and blogs. I'm gonna pull this all together for you. So don't think that these are just the only little things I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna pull it all together for you in just a minute. So newsletters and blogs. And let me go back and say this. Don't wait to do this. See, many of us wait and think that we need to wait until we have everything in place in order to do this. You need to not wait. Become the expert now. So you could be creating newsletters and blogs now. And so you're creating this trail of information, this trail of research, this trail of expertise to show that you are an absolute expert. I love Tony Hardy from Intentional Change. You can follow her on Instagram. She is the Math Wise, WHYS. She started doing these newsletters and she was doing it to increase her visibility. And the thing about Tony does the work. And so she did the work. She created her newsletter. At this point, Tony has probably 50 or 75 newsletters where now she is bundling them to sell them as a package, just the newsletters alone, because she didn't just throw any old information in there. She really worked to solidify herself as an expert in elementary mathematics. She created this newsletter. You have to look at it. It's amazing. And not only did she create the newsletter, but she did it in English and in Spanish, because in her area where she lives in Texas, there are a lot of Spanish speaking folks. And so her newsletter comes in English or Spanish. There are electronic versions as well as mailed out versions. And so she created this as a way to solidify herself as an expert. You can do the same thing as with a blog. Her site is Mathwhys, MathWhys. She's on Instagram. She has phenomenal content, but she's solidified herself as an expert. And she used Mathwhys, yes. And her company is, I believe it's Intentional Change is Tony's company. So you can do the same thing with blogs. If you're creating a blog, you got to have somebody to watch it. You have to have someone to send it to. And it's a slow burn. Like some of us think that we're going to show up on social media today, we're going to start a page, and then next week we're going to have 2,200 people following. That's not the way it works. And we're going to talk about that, because you got to do the work. You got to put in the work. The next way is doing interviews. Come on, people. Now, the first thing we got to know is that interviews is a great way to share your expertise. You can be interviewed or you can do the interviewing. So I recommend you do both. And where are you doing this interviewing at? On your social media. Like, this is where the people are at. This is where everybody's at. Go ahead and find your people. So interview people on your page, and then you get interviewed on people's page. You can be interviewed through podcasts. Podcast is the newest and latest thing that is really taking people to the next level, because now that we are listening to content a whole lot more, that means that as people are driving in, they are listening to you, hearing your philosophies, hearing your beliefs, hearing your stories. And once they have made that connection with you, they will follow you over to your page. They will look up your website. They will do what it is that you have directed them to do to keep in contact with you. So interviews and podcasts, let me throw this in there. Some of us are so scared of media. Some of us are so scared to get media attention. Media means your local news channel, Good Morning America, Forbes magazine. All of that is within your reach. If you look at anybody who's on those segments, you can see that they are just regular people, just like you and me. The only difference is they made an ask. They said, would you like to interview me? They told them, I have an amazing story for you. That's all you have to do. Your local news stations are always looking for people to help them with stories to keep their broadcast interesting. But do you do the work to be on the news? Once you're on the news, now you just increase the number of people who can see you, who you're available to, and you can take those clips and use them over and over and over again to continue to drive traffic to you. So I'm telling you, those podcast interviews, when you're on somebody else's podcast, you need to be continually reminding people, I was on this podcast, this was the best day of my life. This podcast was one that I'll never forget, just to remind people that people are looking for you because you're an expert. But if you can never show that people are looking for you, they don't know that you're an expert. You have to remind people of who you are. The last item is speaking. Y'all know I can go on and on about this, but I'm trying to keep it low today. Speaking, you know, in educational consulting, we do a lot of our speaking at different events, at conferences, at workshops. You have to create your opportunities as well. You can go speak in other people's masterminds. You can speak at different workshops. You need to volunteer. You need to have purposeful positioning, as Kai shared with us last night. You need purposeful positioning. And so you got to position yourself to create the opportunities that you're looking for. Now, a lot of us, like, we get paid for speaking. Now, you got to start somewhere. Some people come straight out the gate getting paid for speaking. And then in education, it's not always right away. So like some of my first speaking events, I was doing some symposiums in different districts. They would just reach out to me and be like, hey, you're doing Genius Days over at your school. Would you come and share the strategy and methodology at our year-end symposium? So I would show up and I would share. And because I shared, then I would create all of these relationships and these networks. I love that Demetra shared networking, because networking is a definite way to increase your visibility. One thing I will tell you about networking, listen to me. People can drop your names and get you into rooms that no degree could ever get you into. No number of years of service could never get you into. By just uttering your name in the right room, it will open up all types of opportunities for you. And that's the beauty of networking. I shared with my previous group about how through my networking and by people dropping my name in different rooms, I've been approached to do a 30-minute talk show on a live streaming network. They already have 60,000 subscribers. They have their plan to increase their viewership, and they are bringing on 30-minute talk shows as part of the plan to increase their viewership. My name was dropped in that room. Those people reached out to me, but guess what? I was findable. They were able to go on social media, look at a few clips of me on Facebook doing lives. They went to my Instagram. They went to my website. They checked me out before they even sent me the email. But you got to be findable. You have to have already cemented the idea that you are an expert. So when they called me, they already knew what they wanted me to talk about. And hopefully next year at this time, you'll be watching my talk show on this live stream platform. Now, it's not on a major network or anything, but again, I'm going to repurpose all of those talk shows, and I'm going to use it as content to, again, solidify my expert status and to get me more visibility. So I hope that this is making sense to you. So speaking is a major way to be able to get more visibility and to cement that you are an expert. Now, some of y'all might be wondering, why did I not mention a book? Some of you all, and if you're not, you should be wondering, why did I not mention a book? You know, I hear all of these people saying, write a book, that'll solidify your expert status. That'll solidify your expert status. But guess what? Now with self-publishing, it's a lot of folks out here self-publishing books that are about what they think and feel, that's about their childhood, that's not serving anybody, that doesn't have a message that's going to move anybody. And they got 1,000 books in their living room because they bought them themselves. Nobody bought the book. And yeah, you have the book and you're able to show that you did produce a book. But at this point, anybody can produce a book. So I didn't mention a book because some people did not create the book with the right intention. If you created the book with the right intention to increase your visibility and to solidify your expert status, it is going to be on a topic that is going to make you an expert. You are going to share information with actionable steps that is going to create a transformation or a result in people. A lot of these books these days are just telling a story. It's not creating any transformation. It's not giving any results. It's not serving people. People are writing these books to serve themselves, to make themselves feel better, to be able to say that I wrote a book. What's the point in writing a book if it never leaves out of your house and all of the boxes stay in your room? And even when you give them away at the holiday, people use them as a coaster or put them in a box and send them up to the attic. I know y'all don't want to hear that, but I'm telling y'all the truth. So that's why I didn't mention a book. But here's the bottom line. You must be willing to take ownership of the results, even before you achieve it. Like when you decide, you can't say, I want to do social media. You got to stop setting these goals and start making commitments. You got to stop wanting and start deciding. You got to decide today, I am going to increase my visibility and my expert status. The first thing I'm going to do is get my social media set up and show up and serve the audience. I am going to commit to doing a newsletter and do what is going to work for you. You don't have to do a weekly newsletter. You can do a monthly newsletter. You can do a bi-weekly newsletter. You can do a quarterly newsletter. You get to determine the frequency of it. But once you make the commitment Stay true to that commitment. Cherie, I'm just saying, you know, it's the truth. These folks be doing stuff just to serve themselves. And that's not what we're here for. We're here to help and serve others, but we also are not fools. So we're not working for free. I tell people all the time, you know, during the time of slavery, we didn't have a choice. We didn't know any better, but guess what? Slavery is over. We no longer work for free. And so when we increase this visibility and expert status, our prices also go up. Okay. So this is a reason for you to increase your visibility and expert status, because the more people that are looking for you, the higher you get to charge. I'm just telling you the truth. And so we got to stop setting goals and start making commitments, commit to ourselves the things that we're going to do. We show up for the job every day, rain, shine, sleet, or snow, whether you're feeling good or not. Make the commitment to yourself and show up to yourself just like you show up to your job. I'm moving on. Okay, I'm done, y'all. Number 2, earning the right to be heard. Okay, so I have to have this conversation. This is something that we all need to understand. Just because you have something to say does not mean people have to listen. I'm going to give you a minute to let that marinate, because some people think that because they want to talk, because they have something that they think people should know, because they want to share some information, they think that people should listen. I am here to tell you, you must earn the right to be heard. How do you earn your right to be heard, Dr. D? Well, number 1, you got to know your content. You got to demonstrate your credibility and competence by preparing for your audience and by staying focused. Some people think it's cute to, you know, show up to a PD or whatever it is you're doing for one purpose and then to talk about something totally different because you went off on a tailspin. No, if you know that's something that you do, you hear me when I say, let me stop now, because I already know I'm going to go off on a tangent. So let me pull myself back so that I can stay focused, so I can demonstrate my credibility and competence in what I'm talking to you about today, which is visibility and expert status. You see how that works? So you got to know your content. You got to prepare for your audience, and you got to stay focused. This is not the time for you to try to get giggles and laughs unless your goal and part of the presentation is to get giggles and laughs. Some people think that because they want to put on a show and they want people to feel good and they want to be the sage on the stage, that that's the thing that's going to get them a trip back in the room. It's not. It's through high quality content. Know your content. When people know that you know your content, they will come back to see you. They will request you back. They will visit your channel, your YouTube station, whatever it is. They will come back to your Instagram. Think about the social media that you go back to visit, that you subscribe to and watch their videos every day. It's because they know their content and you know exactly what you're going to get when you go there. They have earned the right to be heard. And they've earned the right because not only did they prepare for their audience and stay consistent, and stay focused, but they were also consistent. See, we got to get out of the habit of thinking I can show up when I feel like it. I can show up just when I feel like it, or I can show up when I need to make some money. I need to make $5,000, so I'm gonna send out 10 emails, one every day for the next 10 days to try to get my $5,000. That's not how it works. You need to be consistent. That's how you earn the right to be heard, by showing up consistently with consistent demonstration of credibility and competence, by preparing for your audience and by staying focused. So I want you to think about this. Use some examples, y'all know I'm gonna pull it all together for you. So I want you to think about this. When you understand your audience and you know that you know your content and you are serving them at a high level, they will rock with you. Even when you mess up, even when things don't go as expected, they will rock with you, okay? I want you to think about, I don't know how many of you all know Stormy Wellington. Y'all might know her as of now because she had the viral video just a couple of weeks ago about the low vibration plate, okay? So Stormy Wellington, if you think about her audience, she talks to a particular audience. She talks to people who were, who are on welfare, who are strippers, who have had a really rough life, who had to straight get it out the mud. Do you hear me? See, a lot of us, we had to get it a little bit out the mud, but we ain't have to go all the way down to the rocks and the bricks and stuff. We just had to do a little something, and we were consistent. And you know what I'm saying? So like Stormy Wellington speaks to her audience. She comes to them with credibility. She comes to them with competence. She shows them how she was able to turn her life around from being on welfare, from being a baby mama, from you know, all of these scams that she used to do, to being a multimillionaire. She did 60 million, I believe it was, last year. And that's what that's what she shares, her process, her truth. Guess what? She had to do a lot of healing in order to come center stage to tell other people, you need to get off welfare. Welfare is the answer for you. There are other ways you can do this. Let me show you how. Girl, you ain't got to be on the pole all your life. But she speaks to her audience, and she brings them credibility. She brings them competence. But again, she had to do some healing, and she also had to examine some of her beliefs about why that kept her there. If you think about Oprah Winfrey is not talking to everybody. Oprah Winfrey not talking to the same people Stormy Wellington is talking to. And Oprah Winfrey is also not talking to the same people who follow and listen to Kim Kardashian. So you got to understand that when you know your audience and you've earned the right to be heard, they will come and rock with you. They will put your names in rooms. They will give you more visibility by sharing what it is you do with other people. And they will deem you an expert after you have deemed yourself the expert. So you got to deem yourself the expert first. When you think about Michelle Obama, who are the typical people who buy her books, who listen to her, who follow what she's doing? You got to understand your audience. And once you understand your audience and you start talking to them, you start sharing content with them, you start serving them, and you start supporting them at the stage that they're at in their life, they will see that you are competent, you are credible, they will lift you up. They will share your content with other people. They will talk to their principals about you. They will talk to their good girlfriends about you. Your name will be coming up. They will reshare your posts. And you see how now you are reaching people who you never would have been able to reach, because now you have more visibility. You cannot have influence if you are not consistent. You can't come on Sunday night, drop all the good gems, drop them all. I mean, you came on Sunday and you blew that out the water, and then they don't hear from you for another 39 days. They forgot all about them gems you dropped. They forgot all about it. You're inconsistent. Somebody else came in and took your place. They started listening to somebody else. So you have to, in order to have influence, you have to be consistent. And then just touching upon creating that safe space. Some people think that because they have an opinion, that's the only opinion, and it's just not true. If you want to be visible, you want to be viewed as an expert, and you got to earn the right to be heard. You got to create a safe space. You got to be open to new ideas. Somebody else, like I told y'all when I began this, my truth is my truth and your truth is your truth. I am not by any means disputing your truth. Two truths can exist at the same time. So you got to be open to new ideas, and you have to welcome other people's opinions and not be so rigid in your ways that it's a turnoff for other people. Just because that's the way you've always done it doesn't mean that's the way it needs to be done today. And if you notice, most of the people who are not living the life of their dreams, they are so clinging so tight to control. They want to control everything that happens, everything that goes on, that they cannot be free. And people like to be around, follow, and support people who are living a life that they want to live. No one wants to follow and support people and think that you're an expert when you can clearly see the control that you're having a hard time letting go of. So you got to create a safe space for the people, be open to new ideas, welcome others' opinions, and there is absolutely no place for sarcasm in the expert world or in the world of visibility, because that sarcasm will be taken out of context and will be used against you. So you got to understand, you need to earn the right to be heard. I will remind you that another one of the ways that you earn the right to be heard is by listening. It's a reason why we have 2 ears and only 1 mouth. Why didn't the great creator give us 2 mouths and 1 ear? Instead, we got 2 ears and 1 mouth. You need to listen more than you talk. So if you listen to other people and let them feel heard, they will then listen to you and allow you to feel heard as well. So that's number 2, earning the right to be heard. And then I want to throw this in because I don't want you to wait to become the expert. I want you to become the expert now. It's too many people who are waiting until they resign. You don't have time to wait till you resign to try to become the expert. Don't wait to get started. Start serving your clients now for free. This is one of the only few times you will hear me say, serve your clients for free right now, through Facebook groups, through newsletters, through blogs, through podcasts, whatever it is that you select as your avenue that you're going to serve your group, so that you already have a base of people ready to buy your service. See, we want to create the service and then go find the people. How about we get the people and then sell them the service? But you can only do that if you've made yourself visible and that you've also solidified yourself as an expert. And this also serves well those people who are still in the school system. You know you want to leave. Maybe you have a year left. Come on, sis. Come on, bro. Let's go ahead and get that Facebook group set up. Let's go ahead and get a presence on Instagram. Let's go ahead and be on LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever your venue is, and let's start serving our people. Let's start giving them Monday motivation. Let's give them the tip of the week. Let's give them the word of the day. Let's help them with some Friday focus. Let's solve some of their problems for free, and then let's do it consistently. Just like you're getting paid for it every week. You're coming in, you're doing whatever it is you do. You're doing it consistently. You're building your email list. You're getting your newsletter out. You're sharing the information. People are now DMing you and sending you messages. You can see your expert status being built because people are coming to you for the answer. So don't wait until it's time to resign. Become the expert now. Now, let me tell you this. What experts don't do. Experts don't answer questions with questions. Now, you know, I'm not one to tell you what to do and then not tell you what not to do, because some people get this confused. Experts do not answer a question with a question. If somebody asked you a question, you are the expert. You have all of the information on this topic. You are well versed. You understand it with complete detail. You understand it at a conceptual level and not just at a surface level. So when they ask you a question, it is totally inappropriate and non-expert like to answer that question with a question. You answer that question with an answer, whether you believe it's a silly question, I got you question, that's not your business. You're the expert. They ask a question, answer the question. And then my second piece of advice to folks is just to serve. Come on, folks, just serve. That's what we're here for, to be of service to one another. And so serve your people, serve your audience. What does Kim Kardashian do? What does Stormy Wellington do? You see them on there every day. What does Oprah Winfrey do? Oprah got her new group. What does Michelle Obama do? Whoever you're following right now, what do they do? Think about what they do and ask yourself why you are not doing it. Why are you following them? Why do you check in on them on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever you do? Why do you go there to check on them? You know, one of the new people who I've been listening to is Terry K. I don't know if y'all know Terry K. He's on Instagram, and he had a little something that went viral. I can't remember what it is, but Terry K. He ends everything with "love you, bye." You know, y'all know who I'm talking about. Somebody on here know what I'm talking about. Stop acting like y'all don't know who I'm talking about. But anyway, he brings a positive message, and so I listened to Terry K. I ran upon him one day. And then my friend sent me a link to him another day. And I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. I had just found him. And then she sent me a link to one of his Instagram posts, and it was cool. And then another day I was scrolling, he came back up on my feed and he had a really great message. And then I began to start looking for his messages because I was like, oh, he seems to have really kind of funny, positive messages, really straight to the point, you know, messages. And so think about, why do you follow people? But guess what? When I went to Terry K's page, I was able to see several pieces of content from him. What do people see when they come to your page? Is it just one piece of content? Is it a couple of pictures? Is it anything that's going to serve them and not serve you? Like, people don't want to just see pictures of you and your kids. They want to be served. How are you serving them? And then my next thing I'm gonna tell you is love on the people. Like, we gotta love on our people. I don't want nobody serving me who don't care about me. Love on your people. I love on my people. That's why I show up. That's why I give so much. That's why I tell you the truth. I truly believe that people who really care about you, they're going to tell you the truth. It's those people who don't care that'll lie to you. When you got that friend who'll let you leave out the house looking a mess and say, girl, yeah, you look all right, because they don't want, it's not that they don't want to hurt your feelings. They don't want to feel awkward telling you that they don't think that it looks right. They're not doing that for you. They're doing that for them because they don't want to feel awkward. They don't want to feel uncomfortable. They don't want to feel the way that they don't want to feel. So they're going to tell you, girl, you look just fine, and let you come on out the house. See, I love you. And so I'm going to tell you the truth, even though it's going to make me uncomfortable, even though I don't want to do it, I'm going to tell it to you anyway, because I am here to love on you, to help you, to support you. And that's not support when you lie to people that you say you care about. Lie to people who you don't care about. Tell the truth to people who you care about. So serve your people, love on your people, support your people. I'm telling you, people remember. And by you doing that, it could be 2, 3, 4 months later, they will come back to your page when they are looking to make a purchase, when they are looking for the person who's going to do the PD, when they need somebody to come in and do some speaking. They're going to come back because they're going to remember all of the good things that you shared, and they're going to think of you as the expert. Last set of points: how to know you are the best. Now, this is one that a lot of educators have a problem with, because many educators will suffer from imposter syndrome. So they will suffer from imposter syndrome because they don't believe that they are worthy. They don't believe that people will pay them. They don't believe that they could possibly be the best. And so to combat that, you got to know you're the best in order to be an expert. And in order for people, you're going to be visible. You're going to be out in public. People are going to know who you are. They're going to know the work that you're responsible for. They're going to know what your area of expertise is. And so in doing that, you got to be in the understanding that you are the best. And so how do you get yourself to that point? It's through results, y'all. It's through results. Like, when you have the results, like, people can't tell me that I'm not awesome at what I do. In either of the arenas that I work in the school system, I was awesome, and coaching these women to create these ed consulting businesses. I'm one of the best. Do you hear me? Hands down, no question asked. And I'm not going to ask myself no questions about it, because I know it to be true. I got the results. I got many, 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 many women who are making well into 6 figures right now, and many, 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 many more who are headed well into 6 figures. And pretty soon we're going to take them right on into 7 figures, okay? And then I got the testimonials. There go one right there in the chat, Lakeisha, like, yes, she is, okay? You see what I'm saying? But the reason why I'm able to stand on that is by the things that I just shared with you, those 5 key strategies, and then how to earn the right to be heard. And then I had to own the fact that, girl, you're good at this. You're the best at this. And then you got to be obsessed with perfecting your craft. See, that's why I got to go back to the people who are so obsessed with control. It got to be this way. Sign this line, dot this I, check this box. Let me double check to make sure this is. You'll never be the best because you're too concerned with conforming to rules. And whether we know it or not, the rules were made for the masses to keep order. It was not made for the people who are going to do the extraordinary. The rules were made for the ordinary. So if you are the ordinary, keep abiding by those rules. Keep asking for permission. Keep sitting back waiting. Keep waiting. Because you're going to get exactly what you've been getting. But the people who understand those rules don't apply to me. Those rules are for the large mass of the 80% who get the same thing that the 80% get. I'm not a part of those people. I'm a part of the 20% who understands that the rules were made to maintain order and control. But the extraordinary people don't need other people to control them because they understand how to navigate around the rules. So you got to be obsessed with perfecting your craft. What does that mean? Even when I was doing my consulting in the school system, I have a program. I go through it for that 6 months. I'm going back. How can I make it better? How can I better serve them? How can I get them the result quicker? How can I make sure that it's easy for them to get what they need? How can I make this process seamless? I'm always working on perfecting my craft to get my client, my customer, my person a better result, okay? I want them to have the best result because then I know I'm the best. That's just like the people who first started working with me. When they first started working with me, it would take them about 9 months to get their first big contract. And then we got it down to about 6 months. Guess what? We're working now to get it down to 3 months. And when I'm talking about a big contract, I'm talking about a big contract that's at least 25,000 or above. That's the big contract. But we get the little bitty contracts most times within 30, 60 days. That could be a $5,000 contract, an $8,000 contract, a $2,500 contract. And then we do it over and over and over again. So I'm constantly perfecting my craft to get the results, to create the testimonials, to make sure that I'm always in the understanding that, sis, you the best at this. Sis, you got this. And that's what you need to do. In that school system, those kids that you're working with your framework, you need to be constantly delivering, getting results, creating transformations, getting those testimonials. Dr. D, how do I get a testimonial from a kid? You give them a one question quiz, a one question summary. What was the best part about this assignment? Let them tell you. What was most challenging about this assignment? See, the problem is too many of us want to ask 5 and 10 questions at one time to take the easy way out. Do one question. People don't have a problem answering one question and going into detail for you. So see, I'm giving you all of the gems. I don't know if you're taking notes of what you're doing, but you need to be. Testimonials are easy to get. When you're talking to a teacher and you just walk them through how to do whatever it is they do, and they come back to you and they say, oh my goodness, this worked amazing. I cannot believe my class has never been this quiet. They were so engaged. You say to yourself, can you go send me that in email real quick? Just send me exactly what you said in email real quick. For those of us who really serious about this thing, you're going to say, wait, stop. Let me turn my video on and let me record you saying that. Say it over. Say it over right now. Say it over. Say it over. And turn that video on. Stand there and video her as she says it, and she's gonna be like, oh my God, I just love the way you just helped me. It really worked. She walked me through and video it. But see, our problem is back to the visibility portion. See, we haven't healed, so we're scared to ask because we don't want her to talk about us. We're scared to say something because we don't want her to think that we think we're too good. We're scared to ask for the testimonial because we don't want people to think that we're begging. And so I just need us to understand it's all connected, people. It's all connected. So you got to be obsessed with perfecting your craft. Here it is. You got to have what makes you the best. Your experience. Some of us been in school systems 20, 25, 30 years. That experience is invaluable. Come on now. Then your knowledge, all those things that you have learned in those 20, 25, 30 years, 15 years of doing anything. It's hard to find people who have done 15 years of anything these days. Anything. The average person is these days, by the time they're 35, have had at least 7 jobs, okay? So the experience plus the knowledge and then best practices. Some of us don't even understand what best practices is. It's called best practices for a reason. You got to try them, but we are so stuck in our ways. We only want to do the thing that we like to do. Try some of the best practices. And then even if it doesn't work for you, have a good flow of best practices to be able to share with other people. And then here's the key, here's the key, here's the key. Let me give you the key. Because some of us want to connect the dots going forward. We think that we are doing the connect the dot puzzle. Y'all know how we get to connect the dots and you got all them dots all over the page and you got to connect the dots to make a picture. Some of us think that we can connect the dots as we're going forward. I'm here to tell you that's not true in real life. In real life, you connect the dots looking back. Okay. So you got to do the thing. You're going to make a few mistakes. A couple of things going to happen that's not going to go right. So for all those people who scared to fail, if I fail, they go, no, I'm a fraud. If I fail, that's because you haven't healed. Okay. Because you're scared to fail. And so when you connect the dots, you're doing the thing, you're going forward, you're doing the thing. And then you look back and you say, that worked really well. I need to do more of that. Oh, if I had done this instead of that, that would have got me here quicker. Oh, okay, but you can't do that going forward. See, we don't want to take the step forward because we're scared we're going to take a misstep. Those missteps are required in order to connect the dots. Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm gonna get off my horse, okay? So the question becomes, in real life, do you believe you can make a 10K a month income or more? Do you really believe it in real life? In real life. See, Maggie said, oh, definitely. See, because Maggie already close. So Maggie already know. Maggie already doing consulting. So Maggie already knows this is reality. Like she already know I'm a snip away from 10K. And once I get to 10K, I'm going to 15, 20K. Maggie already there. She's not in doubt that she can make 10K. But for my other folks who are listening, do you really believe that you can make 10K a month? If you are currently making $3,000 a month or $4,000, maybe you get paid twice a month, and each pay period you're making $1,800 and $1,800, so you're at $3,600. Do you believe that you can make 10K a month? I want you to know 10K is the floor. It's not the ceiling. 10K is the floor. Come on now. 10K is the floor. We're not playing these games with people. You get to have what you say you get to have. But you got to be willing to do the work, and you got to first believe, and then you got to make a decision. That's right. Esty said, I've seen enough people do it, and it's my turn. And Esty, if we can go ahead and get real, you done seen people do it that ain't even as smart as you. You done seen people do it who ain't even as resourceful as you. So by you seeing those people, like that was my whole motivation. When I saw people who wasn't as smart as me, making more, doing more, living a happier life, I was like, wait a minute, my formula is not right. Let me go back and see where I got a gap, what I messed up, what I need to do. And when I did that, I'm telling you, I'm taking you back. You have to do the healing. You got to do the healing. Then you got to explore those beliefs. And then once you do those things, the gateway opens. Because then you can tell your story. You can talk about things. You can be honest. You can let people in. You can let down all of those barriers and all those defenses you got. When somebody says something to you that you wasn't expecting, you don't ball up and go into a corner and hide. And it's like, oh yeah, that was a terrible time in my life, child. It was a mess. Some people, if you ask them if they still married to their ex-husband, they will shrivel up and be about to die because they scared to say, I'm no longer married, I'm divorced. So what? You gotta let them know, oh girl, I done moved on to bigger and better things, child. I don't know what I was thinking at that time, but I'm healed and I'm relieved. Move on. Like you gotta, that's where the healing and examining those beliefs, that's why that is required. That's why that was the number one step. Like we can't even move forward without doing that, because you got to be able to tell your story. And your story ain't about them kids at school, how much you love the kids at school. That ain't your story. That's their story. That's not your story. They told you their story. That's why you love them. When they told you, I ain't got a place to stay at night and I'm sleeping on the bench and we know it's 36 degrees outside and we worried about them all night, guess what, y'all? That's their story. That's not your story, but you see how they willing to share their story, but we won't share the things that hurt us, the things that took us down, the things that kept us stuck, or why we won't move from where we're at, or why we stay in these toxic relationships. Many of us are in toxic relationships with our school systems, with our administrators, with our colleagues, with our pod mates, with all of those things in that school system. Many of us are in toxic relationships, and we sit back and we say, I accept this and I expect this. I know it's not going to get any better. I'm just going to make it to retirement, even if that means 10 more years, 5 more years, 7 more years. Really? Really? And so, like Lakeisha said, she's giving herself permission to be great. You got to give yourself permission. Stop waiting on somebody to tap you on the shoulder. The permission genie is not showing up. I'm going to wrap this up, y'all, so I can take y'all questions. I'm going to tell those people who have not already made a decision, if you are serious about this consulting thing, you're ready to go, you're willing to make it happen, you look here, you need to prepare for 2023. Plain and simple. This is the thing that kills me. Stephanie say, no way, got out and not going back, keep moving forward. That's right. And you know what? Once you get a little taste of freedom, oh my goodness, it tastes so good. Oh my goodness. I can't even give you a word for what it tastes like. I would imagine that it tastes like clouds, but I don't know what clouds taste like because it is so good. Do you hear me? See, some of y'all are not ready to prepare for 2023. And I want to make sure that you're ready, because here's the thing. We already know what happens to woman-owned businesses. We need to stop playing games. We already know that the average woman-owned business only makes $88,000 a year. And that's on the average. When you think about the average, that's the number in the middle. So that means that the small number is on one end and the large number is on the other end. Now, this is what I want you to think about. If the small number is at 0 and the large number is all the way down at 12 million, 18 million, $1 billion, how did that number get into the middle? Because that larger number was down there. But here, let's dig into this data just a little bit. And this is why I love the aggregation of data, because this is what happened in the school systems. Schools were showing that they was making really great gains and that 90%, they were getting these 90% scores. But then when you break the data down, only one group of kids was really doing well. The other group was not. The other group was not. And so you got to break the data down. So it says that the average woman-owned business makes $88,000. However, you break that data down. If you're a woman-owned business and you're a Black woman, you're only making $24,000 a year. Now, ain't that a big difference? Ain't that a big difference? And so let's break it down a little bit more. This for all women. It's not just for Black women, but Black women need to understand your likelihood of making more than $24,000 is not in your favor. 43.7% of all woman-owned businesses make less than $10,000. What? So we jump out here, we make these plans, we build these LLCs, we do all this work, we struggle, we push, we do all this action, do all these things that don't amount to anything, and then you've only made $10,000 in your business that year. 80.6% make under $50,000. So that's 80% of woman-owned businesses make under $50,000. Come on now, y'all can't think that this is looking good. And for us, and then 88%, look at that, 88% under 100,000, they tell you. So only 12% of woman-owned businesses make over $100,000 a year, but you think that you're supposed to do the regular. You think that you're just supposed to do the bare minimum. You think that you can just do what everybody else is doing and get what the 12% get. It does not work like that. Oh my goodness, it don't work like that. 6% make over $250,000 a year. 6%. Maybe y'all don't understand. There are over 700,000 woman-owned businesses in the United States of America. You heard me, 700,000. And of that 700,000, not even 10% of them make over $250,000. So 12% make 100K, make over 100K. And then 6% make over $250,000, and 1.9%, a little less than 2%, make over $1 million or more in a year. But we gonna keep bootstrapping. We gonna keep trying to figure this out on our own. What is your cheat code? What is your advantage? What is your unfair advantage in this business building? That's just like when you go to take the ACT or the SAT. If you go in there and you don't know what the test is going to be, how it's going to be, especially if you're taking the SAT is totally different from the ACT, and they got a whole different set of rules. But the advantage comes when somebody comes in to give you some test prep. Most people don't know. Don't just answer any answer. Use the same answer to answer all of the ones you don't know. Most people don't know on the ACT, there are 60 math questions. Instead of trying to answer all 60 of them first, skim through the test, mark off the 30 that you know that you can answer, work those 30, pick another 5 that you know that you can maybe figure out, and then don't worry about the rest. Put the same answer for the rest of them. You're guaranteed to get a 25 on that. See what I'm saying? So, but if nobody told you that, You would go in there trying to answer 60 questions in 60 minutes. That's 1 minute a question. And most of us can't answer a math question in 1 minute. 60 minutes, 60 questions, but we can answer 30 questions in 60 minutes, especially if we already have the knowledge and the expertise and the experience with that type of question to be able to answer it. And we got in our back pocket some of the best practices. Y'all gonna go on and stop right now. So I just want you to make 2023 your best year ever. For those who are not ready, not set, ready to go, you need to get signed up. Get that Millionaire Mindset Retreat ticket. I put it on sale for y'all. I gave you a great deal. This is where you need to be to level up your business, to level up your mindset, to get yourself together. It's President's Day weekend. You're already off work. Ain't no excuse. You already off work. We're going to get to Q&A in just 1 minute. It's coming up. You already off work February 17th through the 20th. We're going to talk about marketing and sales. And we're not just talking, we're putting a yearly plan in place. This is not a conversational. This is a full 2-day work session with some relaxation and luxury included and fun. Let me say that. So marketing and sales will be one topic, finances, operations, revenue, and self-care. All from a millionaire mindset perspective, where you set your plan in place for all of 2023. Stop waiting for 2023 to come and already be ready to go. There's a difference between forecasting and regretting. Forecasting is not dreaming. It's a decision-making tool that you use to budget, plan, and estimate your future growth based on past events, as well as management insight. So you need some insight into the things that you plan to manage in 2023. We're not going to do the video tonight. I just want you to know that the action that you need to take, you need to have a desire to increase your income and impact. You got to stop chasing your tail without strategy or resources. Look here, folks, the cheat code is to get you a coach, get you somebody who's already done the thing, who's done it at a high level, and who is willing to show you and allow and help you to do the same thing and better. See, I'm not mad if you make more money than me. It's actually a greater success story. I got a client right now who's working a $350,000 contract in the CTE department. I am over thrilled and overjoyed for her. I have never worked a $350,000 contract, and it's okay, because guess what? In the world of abundance, it's enough for all of us. So you got to stop chasing your tail without strategy or resources. You got to commit to 1 weekend to your business. A lot of us won't even take the time to step away to work on the thing that is going to save our lives and give us a new life that we desire. And then you have to say yes to your business and to your dreams. Again, this is all inclusive. When you pay the fee, you pay for your ground transportation from the airport to the resort. So you're going to pay for your plane ticket to get to Cancun. But when you get there, we're going to pick you up from the airport. We're going to take you to the resort. You're going to have fine dining at all of the restaurants. I believe there are 9 restaurants at each of the location. It's all inclusive. That's included in your fee. Your alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages is included in the cost. Y'all know y'all spend $500-600 on food and drinks alone when you go on a trip for the weekend. It's going to cover the cost for your entry into the event. It's going to give you a beautiful garden view or pool view suite, as well as the learning and the outcomes from the session. So you really can't beat this. You're going to leave with confidence. Your yearly goal will be broken into 90-day plans so you can stay focused. You're going to increase your time because you're going to stop wasting time. And you're definitely going to stop wasting time on things that do not bring in income. And it's going to take away that confusion and you jumping from idea to idea, program to program, trying to figure it out. You're going to know exactly what it is that you need, exactly what action steps you need to take, where you can find the resources at. And so all you have to do is take the action steps. And so it's going to set you up for a clear timeline and action steps for your big goals. It's going to include your accountability so that you can prioritize your profit, as well as grow your revenue. None of this makes sense unless we are actually growing our revenue. We do not work for free. The whole goal is to bring income into the business. And so the cost, I know some of y'all want to know what is the cost. Double occupancy, that means 2 people in the room, 2 people paying this price. If you don't have a roommate, we'll pair you up with somebody. It's $14.97. That includes your 3-night all-inclusive package. February 17th through the 20th. We'll share you with another powerful educator. Let me say this to the people who say, I don't like rooming with people. You have likely never roomed or been on a trip with other high-level educators or people. When we think about when we go on trips, we go on trips with our cousins, our family, our friends, people who we already know, people who are similar to us in some respect, but many times we're the one that talks sense in our group. So if you think about going on a trip with a different type of group, think about if you went on a trip with Michelle Obama, Oprah Winfrey. How would that be different? Would they be in there being petty, arguing about stuff? Do you believe that? So that's what I want you to think about these folks. These are powerful women who are amazingly awesome, who don't have time for the pettiness, who don't have time for the gossiping, who don't have time for any of that. So it's broken down real easy for you. 3 payments of $4.99. You make your first payment, second payment is due 30 days after that. The third payment is due February 7th. So you have time to make the payments. If you want single occupancy, it's $1947 to be in a single room by yourself. Last but not least, I don't think this applies here. Join the community. I have a podcast that everybody should be listening to. Everybody should be subscribed to. As a matter of fact, if you are not subscribed to that podcast, can you please stop right now, go on your phone, go to wherever you listen to podcasts at, and subscribe to my podcast. It's not about consulting. It's about what educators need to move on from. They may need to move on from playing small, from limited beliefs, from money mindset myths, whatever it might be. And we bring raw stories, real conversations about real people. That thing that we talked about at the beginning, being able to tell your story and to increase your visibility. So I put in the chat the link to the retreat if you are not already signed up. If you're signed up, you know you're good to go. If you're not signed up, I encourage you to get signed up. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And at this time, I'm going to stop the PowerPoint to see what questions do we have, because I shared a lot of information. And let me see what questions we got. What questions? Anybody got questions? Let me grab my chat box in case somebody puts questions in the chat box. What questions? No questions? Oh, it was that. Okay, so Stephanie says she subscribed on all platforms and listened to your podcast driving from Arizona to Illinois this week. That's a long drive. All right, Stephanie, you should have been able to get all 34 episodes. So I have 34 episodes out. I podcast every week. This is not one of those podcasts where we start and we do 40 episodes and then we end and it's over with. So check out the podcast. And so if we have no questions, look, I'm impressed with myself. If I have no questions, it either means that I did a really good job of explaining or it went over all of y'all head. So I'm going to go with that we did a good job of explaining, and that because you understand the content a little bit more, it's easier to digest it and to make some action steps. So what actions are we taking? Put in the chat, what actions will you be taking as a result of the learning from what we just went over about visibility and expert status? Thank you. Maggie says, I did a great job. Esty said, amazing job. All right. Cherie says, good job of explaining. Trina says, that was awesome. Thank you. All right. Anton says, you did great, Dr. D. All right. Now we just got to know what action steps are you going to take? Don't come here, get all this good information, because these are real steps. Like, seriously, if you do it, you will see that it will pay off. These are the real steps. So Cherie says she's pushing myself to plan for consistency instead of being spontaneous. That's a good one, Cherie, because it's easy to just go and do it, when you feel like it, but that consistency means that you got to do it even when you don't feel like it. When you decide, I'm going to do it every Wednesday night at 7:00, people will begin to show up at that time. So I did Wednesday night at 7:00 for 2 years, almost 2.5 years. And anytime I'm not on live at Wednesday at 7:00, still to this day, I get a message that says, are you going live tonight? And I be wanting to say, I go live 6 times during the week. Can you catch one of those? But they are still looking for the Wednesday night at 7:00. I follow Cedric Nash, Millionaire Money Moves on Instagram. He goes live every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Every Thursday night at 6 p.m. he goes live. Don't you know I'd be racing and scrambling and scraping to get to my phone, to get these AirPods into my ear so that I can hear him live. So that if I have a question, the beauty of being on it live is if I have a question, he'll answer your question for you. When you watch it in the replay, they're not coming back to answer your questions. So I run, no matter where I'm at, I can be at my son's game. I'll be like, okay, I'm here, but I got this thing in my ear and I'm listening so that if I have a question, I can put it in the chat box. So people will show up when you begin to show up. So that's awesome, Cherie. Consistent social media and newsletter. Okay, do interviews, get visible. Maggie, you got a lot to get visible about. Maggie sitting over there as a real expert and it's the best kept secret. We can't keep being the best kept secret. Do the newsletter. I'm going to go on to my sister-in-law's podcast as a guest. Let's send the email now, Cassandra. Send her the email now. Send her the text message now. Hey, sis, checking in to see when you're going to have me on the podcast. I'm ready. That's all you got to say. She's going to put you on and notify you. But when we say we're going to do it and we say I'm going to call her tomorrow, do it right now. Send her the message now. Be consistent on Instagram. All right, the awkward octopus. Science is a verb. And that when I know what your tagline is, that means that you need to get that tagline out there because I don't remember stuff like that. The awkward octopus, baby. You need to get active on Instagram and be consistent. Action. So posting on social media to serve, not just to be seen. Stephanie, high five all the way. High five. It's so many of us who just want to be seen and not really serving. Like, go to serve, give them the information, share the real tips with them. Love on your people and they will love you back. I'm telling you, love on your people. All right, I'm going to start a newsletter and or a blog. And when you start it, commit to sharing it. Don't just type and write for no reason. I'm going to commit to sharing it, DMing it to people, sending in an email to people I know, posting it on my page multiple times a week, not just one time. I wrote it on Tuesday. I created the newsletter. I'm going to let people know on Wednesday that the newsletter is available. How about I'm going to let them know every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that same newsletter is attached right there in those comments so that they have access to that newsletter. All right, set up my social media specifically for my business and offer postings. Okay, come on. Let's get these business social media set up, working on having a social media presence and a newsletter blog. Come on, Trina, we're not working on it. You got to make the commitment. This is no longer a goal. Trina is going to set up her social media. She's going to set it up. The first step is actually doing the task of creating the social media page. You don't even have to put a post on it yet. But see, we can't even get to the post part until you actually create the page, do all the things to make the page real, add your bio and all that good stuff. So do that first and then make another goal for yourself. I'm going to make a post. I'm just going to do an intro post, intro myself to the people who might come to my page. Then you can do another post, just telling them about how often you will come to your page and post. And then you're building a habit. So, all right, Trina, I'm with you. Anton says to be consistent on social media and newsletter blog. Come on now, Anton. I know he got that social media voice. I don't know why he's sitting back playing. He gonna get a following when we show up consistently. People have to know that you have something of value and they're gonna come back. Anton be trying to play with y'all like he don't know that he is the new teacher coach. And y'all know he the one who got us with that license plate game. All of us done tried to do that license plate game. Anton know it. So he has great skills and just going on there talking about some of the strategies that you use to support new teachers. That license plate game, we are all veteran seasoned teachers. And all of us was like, okay, I done used it. I just need to be clear. I used it, Anton. It went well, okay? I used it. It went well. We had fun. And I learned stuff about people, okay? So sharing things like that, telling them here's a great strategy to get your students more engaged. It's just doing what you normally do. Cassandra says, doing the same on Instagram. I'm going to work on earning my right to be heard and get on these podcasts. All right? Okay. So come on, let's get these interviews going and stop sitting back waiting somebody to think somebody is inviting you to their podcast. They are not. You got to let them know, hey, I'm an expert on topics 1, 2, and 3. If you're looking for guests on your podcast, DM me and they will DM you. But guess what? If they never see the post, they don't even get the opportunity. We got to create our opportunities. Cassandra says she just sent the text to her sister-in-law. Action taker, action taker. All right. So that's what I got for y'all tonight. I hope this has been helpful for you all. I hope that you can really take action and do the things that you need to do. I'm telling you, if you're looking to increase your visibility and your expert status, you need to do these things. I wouldn't make this up to tell you. I get calls to be on podcasts. I get calls to fly out to people's locations. I get all types of emails and DMs, all because I showed up. I showed up, I served, I gave, and don't wait until the business is formed. Like, do it now, serve your people. The key is if you serve them now, because some of us got contracts, like some of us got these school contracts, and read the contract to make sure that you can't do the work in your own business first. A lot of us assume that we can't do the business because we didn't read the contract. So read the contract first. Most administrators have a clause in theirs that creates a little bit of a, of an issue of trying to create your own business using the same content. But for most teachers, instructional coaches, y'all ain't got no problem. You heard some administrators talking about what they couldn't do, and you thought that meant you. We're not on teacher contracts. Y'all are. A lot of these instructional coaches are on teacher contracts. So administrative contracts have different clauses in them, and you need to read those as well. When you read them, you'll see that they didn't say you couldn't have a business. They might say you can't have a business that you're trying to sell in the district, so you need to read the contract. But even if you decide, I don't want to start selling right now, serve, love on your people, support them, give them information, and then guess what? Come March, you can let them know. Coaching cohort starting on July 1st. Be the first to enroll. Keep running it. By the time July 1st comes, you'll have a full coaching cohort set. If you're going to do one-to-one coaching, I'll be taking one-to-one coaching clients starting July 1st. And just keep rolling it. So they already getting into their heads. She's giving us good content. He's giving us great strategies. They show up. We know that they're credible. We know that they're competent. We know that they're an expert. And now she or he is making us aware that they are going to be willing to work with us one-to-one. I would love to work with them one-to-one. I would love to be in a group coaching program, or I'm willing to come into schools. I'll be doing school, professional developments, trainings, and workshops as of July 1, whatever your date is. The people are looking, but you can't post at one time. Again, it's about consistency. So I want us to know we can make it happen. It's available for you. It's all right here. We live in a world of abundance. You get what you believe you can have. And so all you have to do is be willing to do the work. So that's my message for y'all today. I hope this has served and supported you. You know, I always have fun sharing content and giving y'all the keys to the kingdom, because the kingdom is big enough for us all. Okay. So y'all have a good rest of y'all night, and I will see y'all in these social media streets.